Interfax, a Russian diplomat says Moscow is considering changing its stance on Iranian nuclear talks. This flashed as a red alert just a few minutes ago, and it went on to quote, raise the stakes. Although the talks have no direct connection to Ukraine, their success hinges on solidarity among the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, including Russia. If Russia ends its cooperation with the West, analysts say Iran could feel empowered to keep its nuclear program with no concessions and no fallout. Ed Henry has the latest from the White House. We don't know if this is just bloviating from those people,
sure,
but are they reacting in the building there behind you?
Well, Shep, they haven't reacted yet, but here's what I think is the key, what you're putting your finger on, which is how the situation in Ukraine is not isolated just to that country or that region. It shows how American foreign policy could be impacted on a whole range of issues. What Russia is suggesting, and right, might just be bloviating, might just be trying to position themselves because they're in a corner right now on this whole deal. But the bottom line is Russia's been helpful to the U.S. in terms of pressuring Iran over its nuclear program. If all of a sudden they say, we're not going to do that anymore, and Russia's got a seat on the UN Security Council, that will be a problem for the president. Secondly, Russia's been helpful somewhat in pressuring Syria and Assad to turn over and destroy some of his chemical weapons. Now, just a few moments ago, there's been another development. NATO Secretary General Rasmussen just gave a speech here in Washington where he said 2 important things. One, that NATO is now suspending cooperation with Russia over the destruction of those Syrian chemical weapons until they sort all this out. That's a big development involving Syria as well. Again, extending well beyond Ukraine. And then the NATO Secretary General said everything that's happening right now is what he called the gravest threat to Europe's security since World War II. Think about that statement. That's a big deal, Shep.
Yeah, especially coming from that mouthpiece. They're talking about this over at the United Nations now in Manhattan, too. If we get anything out of there, we'll let you know. Ed, good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Check out some